What if I told you this isn't your first life, or even your last? Reincarnation, the idea that we've lived before and will live again, has fascinated humans for centuries. But is there any truth to it? Welcome back, curious minds. Today, we're diving into one of the most intriguing mysteries of human existence: reincarnation. From ancient religious beliefs to modern scientific research, people across the world have tried to answer the same question. Do we come back after we die? Is it real, or just a comforting myth? Let's break it all down and take a look at the evidence from every angle. So, what exactly is reincarnation, and where did this idea come from? The word reincarnation comes from the Latin roots re, meaning again, and incarnare, meaning to make flesh. So, reincarnation literally means to be made flesh again. Or, in other words, to be born into a new physical body after death. It's the belief that the soul or consciousness doesn't perish with the body, but instead enters a new one, over and over again. The concept of reincarnation isn't a new idea. It dates back thousands of years. In Hinduism, reincarnation is central to their worldview, and it's all about the cycle known as samsara, the endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. This cycle continues until the soul achieves spiritual liberation, known as moksha, freeing itself from the physical world. In this view, every life is a step in the soul's journey toward enlightenment. The soul is eternal, and through various lives, it evolves spiritually. But how does this process work? The answer lies in karma, the law of cause and effect. Essentially, every action you take in life, whether good or bad, leaves an imprint on your soul, influencing the circumstances of your future lives. Good karma means a better next life. Bad karma might lead to suffering or a lower form of existence in your next incarnation. In short, your actions in one life determine your experience in the next. But don't just take my word for it. Hindu texts lay this out pretty clearly. The Bhagavad Gita, one of Hinduism's most sacred scriptures, describes reincarnation vividly. In one famous passage it states,
"Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from childhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. The sober person is not bewildered by such a change."
This helps explain how Hindus view the soul's transition from one life to the next. It's as natural as growing older within the same body. Another passage from the Bhagavad Gita likens the soul to a person changing clothes.
Worn-out garments are shed by the body. Worn-out bodies are shed by the dweller within the body. New bodies are donned by the dweller, like garments.
In this analogy, just as we change old clothes for new ones, the soul sheds an old body at death and puts on a new one in its next life. This explains why Hindus view death not as an end, but as a transformation, a stepping stone to the next stage of the soul's journey. For Hindus, life is seen as an opportunity for the soul to learn, grow, and evolve through experiences, ultimately aiming to break free from the physical world. As long as the soul hasn't reached spiritual enlightenment, it will continue to cycle through lives in various forms, driven by the karmic consequences of its past actions, until the soul achieves moksha and reunites with the divine source, or Brahman, and escapes the physical world. While Hinduism offers a deep and complex view of reincarnation, it's not the only tradition that teaches this concept. Buddhism, which emerged from the same ancient Indian philosophical tradition, shares similarities but approaches reincarnation from a different perspective. It's important to note that Buddhism encompasses many doctrines and beliefs, far more than we can cover in this video. So, this is just a general description of the Buddhist perspective on reincarnation. Buddhists also embrace the concept of samsara, but with one major difference. They reject the idea of an eternal, unchanging soul. Instead, they teach anatta, or no self. What is reborn isn't a fixed soul, but a stream of consciousness. This process is often called rebirth rather than reincarnation, as it's driven by karma, much like in Hinduism. However, since there is no permanent soul, what moves from one life to the next is a flow of energy shaped by one's actions, thoughts, and experiences. Each rebirth is determined by the karma of previous lives, and this cycle continues until one achieves nirvana, the state of liberation from suffering, and the cycle of samsara. While Hinduism and Buddhism both teach about the cycle of rebirth, their perspectives on what happens to the soul, or lack thereof, provide a fascinating contrast. But what about other cultures? Reincarnation isn't just limited to Eastern religions. In ancient Greece, we find a belief in reincarnation within the teachings of certain philosophers, particularly Pythagoras, best known for his contributions to mathematics, believed that the soul was immortal and went through cycles of reincarnation as it sought purification. His philosophy tied the idea of reincarnation to ethical living. Souls would reincarnate according to how they lived in their previous lives, similar to karma. Reincarnation also appears in the spiritual traditions of many indigenous cultures around the world. In certain Native American tribes, there are beliefs that the souls of ancestors can be reborn into the same family line. These beliefs often emphasize the continuity between the physical and spiritual worlds, with reincarnation viewed as a natural and harmonious part of the life cycle. Similarly, in various African traditions, the concept of reincarnation is linked to ancestor worship. The Yoruba people of West Africa, for instance, believe that souls can return to the earth in new bodies, particularly within the same family. In these cultures, reincarnation is seen as a way for ancestors to remain present and guide future generations. In more recent times, Western spiritualism and New Age movements have revived belief in reincarnation. These modern interpretations often blend elements from Eastern religions with Western philosophy, offering a more individualistic take on the idea of past lives. Many adherents believe that through practices like past life regression, individuals can access memories of previous incarnations to heal trauma or gain spiritual insight in their current lives. From ancient Greece to Native American and African traditions, it's clear that reincarnation spans a variety of cultures and time periods. But how does it all stack up when we look at the evidence? Can reincarnation be scientifically explored, or is it purely a matter of faith? With such a rich tapestry of beliefs around reincarnation, it's natural to wonder, is there any evidence to support the idea of past lives? Let's dive into some intriguing cases and scientific research that have attempted to explore this concept. One of the most well-known researchers in the field of reincarnation studies is Dr. Ian Stevenson. Over several decades, Dr. Stevenson investigated thousands of cases where individuals claimed to remember past lives. What set Stevenson's research apart was his methodical approach. He didn't simply rely on vague memories or unverifiable claims. He collected detailed information, often interviewing not only the child and their family, but also relatives of the deceased person the child claimed to have been. In many cases, he was able to find verifiable connections between the child's statements and real-life facts. Children often recalled names, events, locations, or family members from their supposed past lives. Dr. Stevenson would cross-check these details with the deceased person's family or official records, in some cases discovering that the child's memories matched real-life facts about someone who had died. In some cases, he observed physical similarities between the child and their alleged past life identity. He specifically documented birthmarks and birth defects that corresponded to injuries or marks on the deceased person's body. For instance, if someone in the past life had been shot, a child might be born with a birthmark in the same location. Some children displayed behaviors, skills, or preferences that seemed out of place for their current age and environment, but aligned with their past life identity. This could include phobias, special talents, or even speaking languages or dialects that they had never been exposed to. One of the more intriguing cases investigated by Dr. Stevenson is that of Jagdish Chandra, a 3-year-old boy from India who, in 1926, began to recall vivid memories of a past life as a man named Jai Gopal, the son of a wealthy man named Babu Pandey from the city of Benares, also known as Varanasi. His memories were triggered when he saw an automobile, which he associated with his past life. Shortly after, he made most of his statements about this previous life within a few days. Over time, he provided a total of 51 specific statements, 36 of which were recorded before any verification attempts were made, and 24 of which were confirmed to be accurate before the two families ever met. Among the most striking memories were his descriptions of Babu Pandey's household and daily life, which included vivid details such as, "A soldier stood outside the gate. Jagdish claimed there were guards outside the gate. It was confirmed that Babu Pandey employed guards with heavy batons, a common sight at his residence. Marble flooring in the house. Jagdish described the upstairs rooms having marble flooring in a checkered pattern. This too was confirmed by the family. Chachi, the wife of Babu Pandey. Jagdish referred to Babu Pandey's wife as Chachi, which means aunt in Hindi. It's possible that he adopted this term because he heard his cousins addressing her that way, as is common in extended families. He vividly remembered her wearing gold ornaments on her wrists and ears, having pockmarks on her face, and frequently cooking in the house. These details were later verified. A brother named Jai Mangal. Jagdish stated that Jai Gopal's brother died of poisoning. This detail was partially verified, as it was suspected that Jai Mangal had indeed been poisoned, though not definitively confirmed. Descriptions of vehicles and horses. Jagdish claimed that Babu Pandey owned a phaeton, a horse-drawn carriage, and a pair of horses. These were also verified, as well as his description of Babu occasionally borrowing a car to drive. Dashashwamedh Ghat. Jagdish recalled a ghat named Dashashwamedh in Benares, a well-known and prominent location near the river, and this was confirmed. Wrestling Akhara. Jagdish also described Babu Pandey as being fond of wrestling and having his own wrestling arena, known as an akhara. Dr. Stevenson observed the actual akhara during his investigation, located in front of the house, further verifying this memory. Daily rituals. Jagdish remembered Babu Pandey smearing his face with ashes or clay each morning and sitting outside the house in the evening. This too was corroborated by witnesses who confirmed Babu's routine of using ashes on his face and sitting outdoors every evening. Jagdish Chandra's recollections came to the attention of the authorities, and in July 1926, he gave an official statement before a magistrate in Bareilly, where he claimed that his name in his past life was Jai Gopal. His testimony, which included additional specific details about Jai Gopal's life, was later verified during an investigation led by K.K.N. Sahay, a lawyer, and the father of Chandra. This testimony was documented by Dr. Stevenson. This case is particularly compelling because many of the details Jagdish Chandra provided were confirmed through independent sources, adding credibility to his claims of remembering a past life. Beyond scientific studies, anecdotal evidence and personal experiences also contribute to the discussion on reincarnation. Many people report vivid memories of past lives, often through practices like past life regression therapy. These memories can sometimes reveal detailed experiences and emotions that seem to resonate deeply with individuals. Past life regression therapy involves guiding individuals into a trance-like state, where they are encouraged to recall memories of past lives. Practitioners of this therapy claim that these memories can provide insights into current life issues, emotional patterns, and personal relationships. While this practice is controversial and lacks empirical support, many individuals find it to be a meaningful and transformative experience. Throughout history, various cultures have documented accounts of reincarnation, from ancient texts to folklore. These stories often describe individuals with uncanny knowledge of past lives, which believers interpret as evidence of reincarnation. While these accounts are compelling, they are anecdotal and cannot be verified through scientific methods. So, what does the evidence say? Is reincarnation a matter of personal belief, or is there something more to it? Let's explore the arguments for and against reincarnation to see where the scales tip. One of the main criticisms of reincarnation research is that the memories provided by children are often vague, or could be influenced by suggestion. Some skeptics argue that these cases can be explained by cryptomnesia, the phenomenon where people remember forgotten information without realizing it. In other words, children might recall details they've heard from family members or picked up unconsciously through other sources. Another argument against reincarnation is that it may simply be a cultural or psychological phenomenon. In cultures where belief in reincarnation is prevalent, such as in India or parts of Southeast Asia, children are more likely to report past life memories. Critics suggest that these reports might be influenced by the surrounding culture, rather than being evidence of actual past lives. In the case of Jagdish Chandra, for example, J. Fraser Nicole, a British parapsychologist, suggested that Jagdish may have learned details about Jai Gopal's life from his parents or a family servant. Stevenson countered that even if Jagdish had overheard such information, it wouldn't explain his deep identification with Jai Gopal, especially in his behavior. Nicole then expanded his argument, proposing that Jagdish may have been deliberately coached by his parents, particularly his father. He noted that Jagdish's testimony before a magistrate was unusually fluent, suggesting it could have been rehearsed. In response, Stevenson provided more background on Sahay's involvement in the case, making the idea of fraud seem implausible. Stevenson criticized Nicol for what he saw as an extreme level of skepticism. Despite decades of research, the scientific community remains divided on the topic of reincarnation. While some researchers, like Stevenson, argue that the data strongly supports reincarnation, many scientists are skeptical, citing the lack of reproducible, objective evidence. Since the cases rely heavily on personal testimony, it is difficult to scientifically verify or falsify the claims. This divide in the scientific community raises an important question. Can personal experiences, no matter how compelling, ever be considered solid evidence? After all, testimony can be influenced by a range of factors: memory distortions, cultural expectations, or even subconscious desires. Yet, for those who claim to remember past lives, these memories feel undeniably real. Despite the rigorous scientific debate surrounding reincarnation, this concept extends far beyond academic discussions and has made a significant impact on popular culture and individual experiences. While science grapples with evidence and skepticism, reincarnation captures the imagination of writers, filmmakers, and everyday people alike. Reincarnation shows up in movies, books, and personal stories, reflecting its broad influence and the diverse ways it resonates with people. Reincarnation remains a captivating and complex topic, straddling the line between belief and scientific scrutiny. From ancient religious doctrines and philosophical musings to contemporary cultural portrayals and personal experiences, reincarnation offers a rich tapestry of ideas and interpretations. On one hand, religious traditions like Hinduism and Buddhism provide structured frameworks for understanding reincarnation, emphasizing the cyclical nature of existence and the influence of karma on our spiritual journey. These perspectives offer a view of life and death as interconnected stages in a larger process of spiritual evolution, where the actions of one life can shape the next. On the other hand, the scientific community continues to grapple with the challenges of verifying reincarnation claims. While researchers like Ian Stevenson have documented compelling cases and personal testimonies, skeptics argue that the evidence remains inconclusive and open to alternative explanations. The debate highlights the difficulties in applying scientific methods to phenomena that are deeply personal and subjective. In popular culture, reincarnation serves as a rich narrative device, exploring themes of identity, destiny, and the continuity of the self. Movies and books use reincarnation to delve into the complexities of human experience, while personal accounts offer profound insights into how individuals perceive their own lives and pasts. Ultimately, whether viewed through the lens of spiritual belief, scientific inquiry, or cultural expression, reincarnation invites us to ponder the nature of existence and the possibilities of life beyond the physical realm. It challenges us to consider how our actions and experiences may transcend the boundaries of a single lifetime and to explore the deeper meanings of our journey through time. And that wraps up our exploration into the fascinating world of reincarnation. Whether you're intrigued by ancient beliefs, curious about scientific debates, or inspired by cultural portrayals, there's no denying that reincarnation continues to captivate and provoke thought. If you enjoyed this deep dive into reincarnation, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more thought-provoking content. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you believe in reincarnation, or do you think it's purely a cultural or philosophical construct? We'd love to hear your perspective. Also, if you have any suggestions for future topics or questions about reincarnation or anything else, drop them in the comments. Your feedback helps us create content that matters to you. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep exploring and remember to always question the mysteries of life. And as always, stay curious.